Good afternoon, evening, night, gamers. My name is KarQ. We have another week of looking through some Reddit posts all over Overwatch Reddit, a bunch of different subreddits. First one we have is a screenshot showing what's coming in Season 17, which is slated to begin on June 24th, which is in 2 weeks from now. Here is part of the roadmap they teased a while ago. Season 17 is going to be the filler season for the summer of 2025. We have the Diva Mythic skin. They show a little preview of that. Looks pretty fire. The Mythic Weapon Reaper, mostly cosmetics. OWCS Mid-Season Championship if you follow competitive Overwatch. The biggest, I guess, content and system update is a new Flashpoint map called Atlas and new map updates for some of the old maps and map voting. That is the big thing. A brand new system. Looks like you have an option down here to vote for 3 different maps and you get to choose which one's popular. It's going to give the dev team a lot of data on what to work with, on what maps are shit and what people don't like and do like, so they can kind of like fix a couple of the issues. They did a really good job like shortening Nimbani recently, fixing some sightlines and some of the other ones, but there could be a lot more work. So I present the question to you guys, the viewers of this channel. Remember, Overwatch has told me, the team has told me they do read the comments on my videos sometimes, especially when I cover news and things that are like fresh updates. So if you have any feedback for some maps you hate and some pain points, let them know. And then I guess the last piece is the new hero trial for Aqua. Aqua was teased back in February as the new support hero. They showed all his like splash art and everything. Train, we could flash a couple of those like images back then. That's gonna be like probably like a free trial period weekend around the mid-season. So I would assume that's probably mid to late July if the season begins on June 24th. Probably end of July if I had to guess, 4 to 5 weeks in. Now let's take a look at some of the posts. This person says, learning Baptiste, how's my lamp placement? What do we got here?
Actuating the barrier.
They outnumber us. Keep it.
I didn't even notice this had a humor tag to it. I'm gonna turn this funny shit post, this post of getting this whole team killed with a bad lamp, into something informative. I actually learned this the other day, but if you see a diva bomb with like, you know, the warning caution sign, you see how it's a red triangle? That means you're in the, I think the 600 to 1000 damage blast zone. That means it will kill you from this range. But apparently, if you start distancing yourself from the diva bomb, that exclamation mark changes colors to orange to yellow, and that means you're like out of its like lethal range. Spacing advice for those if you're like caught in the open with a diva bomb and you're trying to run away from it and there's no piece of cover, that exclamation point, that little triangle, will kind of let you know. If you're colorblind, then tough luck. I'm gonna be honest with you. Play as you normally would have. I've been playing not knowing this knowledge until today. For those who are not colorblind, I guess you could take advantage of this knowing this now. Next post says, this Mercy res is kind of crazy. Let me read the caption first. It says, so I killed the Junkrat and I'm waiting for the Mercy to go in for a res, but she did this tech where she jumps a bit further onto the bus and res him where I can't even reach. When I play Mercy and res someone and move a bit further than their death spot, I got canceled right away. This distance feels very illegal. It's funny how the Mercy actually pinged me in the replay and her teammates are oblivious. All right, let's see the clip. Okay, good kill. Recall. Ooh, okay. Oh, we get the Mercy POV right after. Perfect. Okay, so this is a super jump res where like when you start super jumping and you start the res, you slow down your momentum and then you kind of just like get max range right here. The res starts super jump resing, moving right over the bus to break LOS. That is a very good Mercy play on the Mercy player's part. That is very good. That is actually a tech that was explained in my main channel video back in Overwatch 1. I did a little collab with Neandra back then, and I think it's easier to just show you the clip from Neandra as a learning point here to perform the super jump tech. This, you say it feels illegal, but this has been in the game forever, like since Overwatch 1. 5, 6, 7 years, I don't even know, gosh knows how long at this point. Okay, so apparently I made this video 4 years ago, 331k views, 5 advanced Mercy techs featuring Neandra. Okay, at 335 in this video, you can see this. Roll the clip.
Being aware of these stages opens up another tech, the super jump res. This allows you to keep motion and propel upwards while reviving, which can make you less of a sitting duck. The timing is earlier than you would usually use for a super jump. If you're as late as stage 4, Mercy goes too high and cancels the res, while if she's too early at stage 1, she barely leaves the floor. The sweet spot for a super jump res falls roughly between stage 2 or 3. Learning the timing of various stages just kinda comes down to practice, like there's no real secret to it. I really recommend my workshop trainer where you can toggle slow motion to fully see the window.
One thing I wanted to note is that the res range for Mercy is a lot more forgiving in the vertical component, so you can actually go a lot higher and still be in range, but horizontally, the range is a lot shorter. So after you saw that Neandra clip in our collab video, you can actually see the Junkrat with the Mercy here. It's probably like 2 or 3 meter range. It's probably on the wiki somewhere exactly how much radius there is, but in terms of the verticality, it's a lot more forgiving. You can see it visually here, and it pretty much answers your question here, or your statement here from from this poster saying, when I play Mercy and Rez and move a bit further than their death spot, I got canceled right away. This distance feels illegal. That hopefully answers that. All right, next post, it says, Hazard's golden weapon sucks. I think we can all agree its golden weapon is the worst in the game, and I have 2 ideas to change it. What do you think? Yeah, the edit is bad. Right now, his default is just the weapon, right? So you're saying you're adding it to the blade. This looks like a piss blade. Oh, piss spikes too. Is that actually what it looks like right now? Oh, hey, top comment, frozen piss spikes. I think I'll pass. Bring in the rain. Yeah, seriously. It's literally just everything the same but gold. It's the exact same gold thing as every other gold in the game. Well, in any case, I don't like the piss blade, but I will say that I think Moira's golden weapon was worse. I think they fixed it because it's like part of the plating on her hand, but back then I think it was like just like the nails or something a lot smaller in her arm, and you couldn't even tell that she had a golden weapon back then. But this is definitely, if it's just the weapon, I mean, it kind of just looks pretty standard. I feel like I don't remember seeing the blade being a different color, but I haven't seen Hazard in the game in forever. So if it's just this looks pretty standard. So I wouldn't say it sucks. It just seems kind of cookie cutter template, to be honest with you. 4 days ago, damn, these are uploaded like crazy on the subreddit. I love how I scroll down. I got a freaking Marvel Champions ad down here on Reddit. Thanks, Reddit. Anyways, this post says, am I supposed to lose all my placement matches? And there's 10 L's in a row, predicted rank platinum 5. The answer is you can lose all your games, but it's very not likely. And if you're gonna lose 10 games in a row, either you're calibrated very poorly or you are playing poorly and you just don't want to admit it. Something is up. The game tries to put you in a spot where you kind of have an equal chance to win. Obviously, there's some like standard deviation to it, like 47 to 53% chance to win, right? 47 would be obviously not in your favor. That's where if you win, if the game predicted you to 47%, it would be an uphill battle. 53% would be the other version of it. But in any case, if you're losing 10 in a row, I think if you simulated it statistically, it is very unlikely. And I actually wanted to take this time to go to the next post because it answers this one. It's possible if you're tilted, you're playing poorly, but this post right here was really good. And I actually glanced at this before. I saw this 28 days ago. Not really top of the week, but it's relevant. In Overwatch University, this user says why losing streaks in Overwatch are usually just statistics and when they're not. The TLDR, most losing streaks, even 5 to 6 streaks long, are statistically inevitable. Like, it will happen, but don't panic. But once you do hit 7+ losses in a row, it's time to reflect. Streaks are normal. Sometimes it will be out of your control to win 5 or 6 is what he's saying. But if it's 7 or beyond, how you respond to it is important. Because if you're losing a lot, your elo is technically, your MMR is going down. Technically, the matches are supposed to get easier, but you are very likely playing tilted or playing piss poor because of that reason, and you're causing yourself to lose more. So let's keep continuing this post. I ever felt like Overwatch is just out to get you? 5 losses in a row, awful teammates, everybody likes to blame their teammates, and you wonder if you're cursed. Elo hell, losers queue, losers lobby. Here's the truth. Streaks like that are often guaranteed by math. In this post, I'll explain the hidden statistics behind win and loss streaks, when they're normal and when they're not, and what you should actually do about them. So the coin flip analogy. If your true win rate is 50%, every game should be like flipping a coin. Heads is a win, tails is a loss. It might sound fair, but it leads to surprising patterns. So let's say you play 300 matches in a season, which is a typical Overwatch grinder. 300 simulations of heads and tails. If you just take that, ignoring Overwatch, just flip a coin, heads or tails, the likelihood, if you analyze all 300, the chance of any streak of 5 wins or 5 losses in a row is 100%. 6 in a row is like a 95% chance. When you get 7 of the same in a row, 75% chance of that happening across 300. 8 in a row, 50%, 9 in a row, 25%, and then 10 in a row is a 10% chance. So when this person said, is it possible to lose, or is it normal to lose all of my placement matches? Not normal, but it will happen to 1 in 10 players. Across 300+ games, there's a chance of 1 in 10 players who have gone on a terrible streak. I've definitely experienced I think 13 game win streak was my worst. 13 game losing streak was my worst. And I think a 14 game win streak was my best. Something along those lines. Very rare though in my Overwatch career. And I played thousands and thousands, probably 10,000 games across like almost 10 years now, right? Continuing the post, they said, yes, a 5 game losing streak is basically guaranteed to happen. So 300 games in a season at least is bound to happen at some point, right? So when is it not just statistics? So here's a self-diagnosis guide for losing streaks. So 1 to 3 losses, 100% probability. It's normal ebb and flow of a season. Normal noise, ignore it. 4 to 5 losses in a row. This also goes for wins in a row. Still very common, but if it's losses in a row, take a short break. 80% chance of this happening, greater than 80%. 6 to 7 loss streak in a row, still pretty likely, possibly tilted. Review your gameplay decisions. If you have 8 losses in a row, could be mental state, misplays, pause, maybe you're drunk, maybe you're on something. 9+ losses, it's actually pretty unlikely, likely gameplay or mindset issue. And if you have 10 and beyond, like 13, 14, 15 game losing streak, you're definitely critical. Something's off about you right now. So here's some good actionable advice this user user. I like this post actually quite a bit. It said, after 3 losses in a row, take 5 to 10 minutes off, don't force it. After 5 losses in a row, consider switching heroes or roles, focus on fundamentals. After 7 losses, watch a replay or ask Revada review, see if something is actually going on here. And after 9 losses in a row, they say don't revenge grind. That's an interesting term. We call this tilt Q. Back in my day. Reset fully. Why this matters. Understanding the math behind streaks helps you stay calm during slumps, stop blaming teammates irrationally, focus on improving your play, not just your results, and protect your mental resilience and avoid burnout. This is a great psychology math post. One thing I'll add is like when people ask me or when they come to my stream, I'm not saying I portray myself like this because this is just the way I am. I have good expectation management. I didn't actually know the true math behind it, or the likelihood of it, but like I knew it was bound to happen because I play so much damn RuneScape and I look at drop rates, stats all the time in that sense. So I know winning streaks and losing streaks are inevitable. So I've managed my expectations. So when people come into my stream and I'm on an 8-game losing streak, they'd be like, bro, are you tilted? I'd be like, sorta, yeah, but like it's fine. It comes and goes. Like I know where I stand as a player. I play this game for so long. Streaks are inevitable, and I've always said this, and I'm glad the math is showing here. It helps me stay calm during slumps. I've never really blamed teammates because like if I'm losing 8 in a row, I'm like playing off for sure. And I like this one, focusing on improving play, not just results. One of my mottos is I play the game and let my rank take care of itself, or in this case, not just the results of itself. Because like another way to look at it is if you're on your like about to D-rank, if you're in your D-rank game or your rank up game, people like trick themselves in their mind to like play differently because like, oh my god, if I lose this is my 8th loss in a row and I'm gonna D-rank down to whatever. Or if I'm about to like win and rank up, it'll be like, oh my god, I'm about to promote, oh my god, I can't lose this game. So instead of playing to win, they're trying to play not to lose, which is not a great way to approach it in my opinion. And then on the flip side, when you're tilted and you're losing a lot, you're playing to, same idea, you're not playing to win, you're just trying to play not to lose, actually, in both ways now that I think about it. So I just focus on myself, focus on just playing my best and just let the results take care of itself, let the rank take care of itself. That's going to be up and down no matter what, and that's protected my mental over the last 10 years of playing in all pretty much multiplayer games. You have to expect that not all your teammates are going to be perfect, man. You're queuing up with randoms, like shit's going to happen. It wasn't always like this. I wouldn't say I was like a big rager when I was a teenager. I'm 32 years old, by the way, chat. So when I was 14, 15, I played a lot of Halo 3. I was like pretty high ranked in Halo. I was like 50 in all the playlists, and I was doing some MLG stuff. If I ever died to like stupid lag or like things, like I think I threw my controller on my couch, and my couch was pretty bouncy. It wasn't one of those soft ones. So like I threw the controller, it fucking bounced off the couch, and it like ricocheted and hit the hardwood floor and dented it. And then my Asian mom was like, what the hell, man? And then I never did that again. And that's probably the end of that. I don't know why I just went to an anecdote here, but the takeaway point is just relax, play your best, and let everything take care of itself. It's gotten me pretty far in life, pretty far in these hero shooters and these video games. I'm sure it'll help you. This post says, this character needs to get hit with some more nerfs, and it's a picture of Freya. She's fun and all, but her damage is just too much. I just want to play her without feeling like a criminal, a smooth criminal. So I have not played any ranked this season. I've only been playing Stadium, and in my limited time of playing Freya in Stadium, I knew she was a menace, and she was really good. But that's with all the stuff. Now, I did tune into OWCS recently, and Freya is dominating. I've asked some of my other streamer friends who are grinding ranked at really high ranks in Champion and GM, and Freya's still running lobbies, and she's falling into the Sojourn pattern where I'm pretty sure her win rate is like pretty abysmal for your average player, but she's a high skill ceiling hero. She's still absolutely dominating, and I feel like your experience with her, your mileage may vary considerably depending on the rank you're playing at. And I feel like the top players may self-diagnose, and that's why hero bans are nice, because if they don't want to deal with Freya, they can just ban it right now. But like your average bronze lobby probably doesn't even ban Freya at all, because like there's no point. She's very hard to get value with if you're bad. So now the question is, does this character need to be hit with some more nerfs? I'm actually arguing no right now, but again, I may not be the best person to answer this because I haven't experienced it myself in ranked, but I'll just ban it and move on with my day if I find it being a problem, which is why I personally love hero bans. And from what I've seen, she is very, very lethal in the right hands, but that could be said with like Widowmaker and like Tracer as well, which is why I'm like, whatever. I'm kind of over it. They kind of got rid of like the super big outlier stuff where you stalled forever, and they've nerfed a little bit of the aim down sight cooldown, so you can't do some of the cheesy stuff. But like for the most part, the person piloting the hero matters more than the hero itself. So I think I'm okay with where she's at, but my opinion may change in the coming weeks when I actually maybe do pop ranked. Next post says, play with your team. Don't make your team play with you, from OverwatchUniversity. It's a tips and tricks post. Let's see this. It says, trying to get your teammates to play the game you want them to has never and never will be beneficial to outside of GM+. There's an entire plethora of reasons why. Number one, You don't know what you're doing. You really think if you had more insight than your teammates in the same elo as you, don't you think you'd be higher? Number 2, when you're worried about your teammates, it makes you lose focus on your own gameplay. If you're not entirely focused on your gameplay, how do you expect to improve? Number 3, this will allow you to realize the real reason you are losing a game. The real problem, not what your team's playing and not what hero the enemy team is playing. It's where your team's resources are getting misused and how you can make up for it in your gameplay. I'm not trying to say it's never your teammate's fault. Trust me, everyone has games where they have a thrower or a lever or someone with 0.33 KD, but the point is shifting your mindset to what could I have done more there? Did I do enough? What to do next time? Not telling teammates to swap, blaming balance, thinking about factors that you can't control. Improvement isn't just about playing more, it's a mindset, it's a skill. You need time to improve on improving, and that's fine. Small steps are just as valuable as big ones. This is basically, in short, saying play with your team, don't make your team play with you. This is just the adaptation portion of skill. I have a tree and like a branch of what I entail Overwatch skill to be represented as. And people say this is a no skill hero, they always think of just mechanics. And there's like, you know, a branch for positioning, there's a branch for game sense, there's a branch for like ultimate tracking, ultimate management. And there's one branch here that I personally love called adaptation, adapting to your teammates, because resources are very different. Playstyles are very, very different from every single random ranked game. You could be queuing with an aggressive Winston, you could be queuing with the most passive Winston. You can be queuing with the charge only Ryan or the most passive Ryan. And every game is winnable in a sense if you know how to adapt. And hopefully enough people adapt and kind of like sync with each other, and that works out. But sometimes it won't work out, and that's okay. That goes back to the expectation management from before. But doing your best to play with your team and not being the one where everybody has to adapt to you will go a lot further than you think, unless you are an absolute demon god. If you have the ego, and sometimes that could be also your downfall, but let's say you're just like the best Ashe ever, then you can maybe like ask your Mercy to like follow you, and a genuine, like some people will say like just pocket me and we win the game. It's pretty big ego play. Most people will probably fail doing that, but like I hate people like that, but you know, sometimes they do keep their word and they're popping off, sure. But generally speaking, for most of you guys, don't be that selfish and figure out ways that you can adapt, and hopefully your teams is pretty selfless to adapt to you, and everybody adapts to each other, and then bam, you get the perfect synergy, and that's where you stomp. Those are the games where you absolutely stomp and the enemy team goes, wow, matchmaking sucks because the enemy team stomped us. This match didn't feel fair. That's just because all the adaptability skill set of all your teammates kind of worked out in that sense in that game. That's my belief, at least. But that's an intangible adaptability factor. Is hard to like tangibly rate as a skill. Obviously, Overwatch just has their algorithm to represent skill, which is just a representation of your wins and losses, but that's the intangibles. If you actually watch like basketball or like sports drafting, there's like usually a stat for new drafts called like the intangibles, the BBIQ, the things that you just can't teach. You can teach adaptability, but like sometimes it's just an instinct where people kind of just like learn how to play off each other, and that's who stays in the NBA and that's who doesn't. And that's who climbs and that's who doesn't. Someone who learns how to adapt, unless they're just a complete outlier mechanics god. You know what I mean? All right, final post of the week says, would having a third major perk be a good thing? With the recent dev talk, Season 18 was mentioned to have every hero receive at least one new perk to experiment with, and while I'm open to trying new perks, it's just kind of sad to see some perks go. For example, I love both of Ana's major perks. I like using the headshot perk when I don't need to focus too much on healing and want to be more aggressive. But if I'm going against dive, choosing the double nano is so helpful. I'd be devastated to lose either one because I love having these options, and that's why I thought, what if the devs just add a third major perk? It'll retain all the current perks that the players love, but also give other options to those who want to try something new or different. I did think about having both a third minor and major perk, but I think even that may be too much. I thought I personally wouldn't be against it. I just like having options in general. Regardless, would you prefer having a third perk to choose from, or are you okay with how it currently is, with perks being replaced every so often? And for clarity, it's like once you're at level 3, you and unlock your major perk, you have 3 options to choose from instead of 2, not like a new level 4 with another perk. Okay, a third option instead of 2 options in major. I think the game might actually end up going here, but for now we don't need it. But it could be a good thing when people play perks long enough. I think what they need to work on is still iterate on the current perks and make sure people are happy with them first. There's a bunch of shit perks that like need to be dropped immediately, and once we've played it for a few seasons, the next step in its evolution is to slowly add more. I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm for a while, and I actually do enjoy like how every like 4 levels you have a pretty decent list of options. Then you can truly like optimize a build based on like how the game is going. So down the road for sure, but right now, no, I don't think we need that. And I think that's it for this week's Reddit posts. Thanks for listening to me yap this week and answer the question at the beginning with the map stuff. Thank you.